Hello guys, welcome to this session. In this session, let us see the structure of C++ program and how to compile and execute the C++ program and what are the types of errors involved while compiling and executing your program. So first let us see the structure of C++ program. So a program means a sequence of instructions or a set of statements. These statements has to be written in some formats or in some structure. So here this C++ program has been divided into 4 sections. First one is header file, next is class declaration, and the next is the member function definition of that class and the main function. So first and foremost line which you have to include in your C++ code is header file program. Typically, when we write a program, most of the definition we use are not written by us. For example, implementation of cin, cout, power, square root. All those functions are already written and it is stored in the standard C++ library. So we can just make use of that functionalities in our code by giving just a file name in hash include. So the header hash include directive instructs the compiler to store or to load all the functionalities from the file. So if you give hash include iostream.h, it loads all the functionalities for input and output functions into your code. So when you give cin, cout, you don't want to write any functionalities or definitions for that. Just we can use that functions to display the values on the screen. So this is the purpose of header files. So header file just to include the files into your source code. So here it is going to instruct the compiler to load the standard libraries into your file. So here you can include your user defined header files too. How it is just by giving hash include file name.h in a double quotes. So if you give under the double quotes, it assumes that it is a user defined header files. So it searches under the folder where your source program is stored. So header file inclusion is just we are going to include some of the files, some of the functionalities you need in your code. So the next one what you are going to write is class member functions declaration and definition. So class will contains two members, that is data members and member functions. So this defines the properties and behaviors of a object. So simply data member means a variable. Member function is a function that operate on that data. So data members is a variable. So how you have to declare this data member in your classes? See here, we are declaring a class here. Class is a keyword. Class name, access specifier, data members. First you are going to declare a data member here and then declare a member function, what we are going to use in our code. So you are going to close our class by semicolon at the end. So let us see how you have to declare a data member. So data members can be a built-in type, or it can be user-defined type, or it can be a pointers. So the class contains data members and member function. Data member means a variable. So how we have to declare a variable is data type, a variable name. How we have to declare a member function is return type, function name, and parameter list. So let us see this in an example. So here class is sample, and here we declared a data member first, int x comma y. Int x comma y is a data member. We had given integer type, integer data type. The next is function declaration. Return type is void, and function name parameter list. So this is how we have to declare a data members and member function in the class. And after closing the class, you have to end with semicolon. So there are three access specifiers in the C++. So first one is private, second is public, and third one is protected. So when you use private as access specifier, its visibility mode is restricted inside the class. It cannot be visible outside the class. So the data members is protected now. It is not visible outside the class. So when you give as public, its visibility mode is inside and outside the class. So you can declare the function as public. So what is this protected? Protected, the data members are not visible outside the class, but it can be accessible by the inherited class. So this is protected. So these are the access specifiers for visibility in class. So next, let us see the definition for the member functions. So already we have seen the declaration. Now we have to see the definition. Here we are going to give definitions inside the class, or it can be outside the class. For declaring inside the class, only the return type, function name, parameter list, and blocker statement. But it is if it is outside the class, we have to mention the class name and scope resolution operator. So let us see that in an example. We had created a class already, and we had declared a data member x and y, and with a function void get and void display. This is what we declared. Now we are giving definition to the void get function inside the class. So this is inside the class. Now let us give a void display function outside the class definition. So now we will see how to declare now we will see how to define a class outside the member function outside the class. So void is a return type, sample scope resolution operator, class name scope resolution operator, function name, and parameter list, and a block of statement. This is how we have to define outside. So now you know how to declare a class members and define the member functions. Now let us move on to the concept of main functions. So the main function, now let us see the concept of main function. This is the startup function. The compiler searches for the keyword main, and it starts execute from the keyword main, from the function main. So the syntax for main is return type, main, parameter list, a block of statements, and return 0. So we will always return 0 at the end of execution. It indicates that this code has been executed successfully. So this is the structure of main program. So now let us see an example for a C++ program. So let us create a sample program first. The first line of the code is hash include iostream.h. You are going to include the header file. And next, using namespace std, that is, we are going to define the scope of identifiers that are used in our program. So here we are used double slash for single line comment, and for multi-line comment we will use slash star. So this is the header files. Now let us see how we have to declare and define the class. This is the member variable, and member functions void display, we are going to define it outside. And the main function, in the main function we are going to create an object first, then by using this object we are going to call both the functions get and display. O dot object dot get, it calls the get function now, and o1 dot display, it calls the display function next. So now this is the code for accepting the value and displaying the value on the screen. Now we have created a sample program. We save this code under a file name .cpp. Let us look into how to compile and execute your code. So while compiling and executing your code, there are 3 steps involved. First, when you compile your code, your source program will be converted to object code. Then this object code will be linked with the library files and creates an executable code. This is the first step. Your source code is converted to object code, that is machine readable format. After this machine readable format, the library files are linked and it is now ready for execution. When you click run, this executable file will be executed to produce your desired result, not your CPP code. The CPP code is now in the executable format. This produces a desired result. So now let us see types of errors involved in the program. So first is syntax error. This error occurs by the programmer by missing parentheses, spelling mistake, keyword mismatch, semicolon missing, all those types of error is syntax error. Here the compiler will not create any object code if there is any syntax error. So the first type of error is syntax error. This type of error or mistake which is done by the programmer by violating the rules of a programming language, like missing parentheses, semicolon missing, commas missing, misspelling of keywords, all those errors are syntax error. If there is any syntax error, the program will not be compiled. So it is done by the programmer. Next is runtime error. This type of error comes after compilation and during the execution. While executing only, we will come to know the divide by zero error, incorrect file location, file is opened for writing but it is not there, it is invalid function call. All those types of errors are known only during the runtime. Now the next is logical error. This type of error will not be known during compilation or during runtime. It produces the result, but it is not a desired result. The output will be unexpected. Like when you are giving the wrong conditions in the if statement, while the while loop conditions are invalid. Instead of addition, you are doing multiplication. So these types of errors are logical errors, which is done by the programmer. It will produce a result, but it is not an accurate and unexpected result. We have seen the structure of C++ program and the steps involved in compiling and executing the code, and what are the types of error occurs during compilation and execution. I hope this video maybe helped you. Let us see in another session. Bye.